Hello and welcome to the Catholic Audiobook in a Month podcast. My name is William Wilson, and today is day 22 of Abandonment to Divine Providence by Father Jean-Pierre de Caussade. I will be reading Chapter 9. We start out with more Latin, this time from Vulgate Psalm 110, Intellectus bonus omnibus facientibus eum, which means a good understanding have all those who practice it, and by it we mean God's precepts. Also, we'll hear how if your heart be wholly devoted to God, you will find in it the kingdom of God. Let's get started. Chapter 9. Love holds the place of all things to souls who walk in the way of abandonment. God, while he despoils a soul who wholly abandons herself to him, gives her something which takes the place of all things, of light, of strength, of life, of wisdom. This gift is his love. Divine love is like a supernatural instinct in these souls. Everything in nature has that which is suited to its kind. Each flower has its peculiar charm, each animal its instinct, and each creature its perfection. And so it is in the different states of grace. Each has its special grace, and this is a recompense to everyone whose goodwill brings him in harmony with the state in which Providence has placed him. A soul becomes subject to the divine action the moment a good will is formed in her heart. And this action influences her according to the degree of her self-abandonment. The art of self-abandonment is simply the art of loving. Divine love grants all things to the soul who refuses him nothing, and as God's love inspires the desires of a soul who lives for him, he can never refuse them. Therefore, cannot love desire what it pleases? The divine action only considers the good will of a soul. The capacity or incapacity of the other faculties neither attract nor repel it. If it find a soul good, pure, upright, simple, submissive, it is all it requires. It takes possession of this soul and of all her faculties, and so disposes all things for her good that she finds means of sanctification in everything. That which would give death to others, should it enter this soul, will be harmless, for the antidote of her good will arrest the effect of the poison. If she stray to the brink of the abyss, the divine action will withhold her from its depths, or if she fall, it will rescue her. And indeed, the faults of these souls are but faults of frailty and little perceptible. God's love knows how to turn them to her advantage, and by secret and ineffable ways teaches her what she should say and do according to the circumstances in which she is placed. Such souls receive, as it were, rays of divine intelligence, Intellectus bonus omnibus facientibus eum. For this divine intelligence accompanies them in all their wanderings, and rescues them from the snares into which their simplicity leads them. Have they committed themselves by some mistaken measure? Providence disposes a happy event which releases them. Vainly are intrigues multiplied against them. Providence overcomes all the efforts of their enemies, and so confounds and bewilders them that they fall into their own snares. Do they seek to surprise the soul? Providence, by means of some apparently unimportant action which she unconsciously performs, rescues her from the embarrassments into which she has been led by her own uprightness and the malice of her enemies. Oh, the exquisite wisdom of this good will! What prudence in its simplicity! What ingenuity in its innocence! What frankness in its mysteries! What mystery in its candor! Behold the young Tobias. He is a mere youth. But Raphael walks at his side, and with such a guide he walks in safety. He feels no want, nothing affrights him. Even the monsters he encounters furnish him food and healing. The very creature which springs to devour him becomes his nourishment. He is only occupied with nuptials and festivities, for such is his present duty in the order of Providence. Not that he is without other cares, but they are abandoned to that divine intelligence charged to assist him in all things. And the result of his affairs is better than he could have made it, for everything succeeds and is crowned with prosperity. Yet the mother bitterly grieves, while the father is full of faith. But the child, so sorely lamented, joyfully returns to become the happiness of his family. Then for those souls who wholly abandon themselves to it, divine love is the source of all good, and an earnest desire is all that is necessary to obtain this inestimable blessing. Yes, dear souls, God asks but your heart. If you seek, you will find this treasure, this kingdom where God alone reigns. If your heart be wholly devoted to God, within it you will find the treasure, the kingdom itself, which is the object of your desires. The moment we desire God and His will, that moment we enjoy them, and our enjoyment corresponds to the ardor of our desires. The earnest desire to love God is loving Him. Because we love Him, we desire to be the instruments of His action, that His love may freely operate in us and through us. The work of the divine action is not in proportion to the capacity of a simple holy soul, but to her purity of intention. Nor does it correspond to the means she adopts, the projects she forms, the counsel she follows. The soul may err in all these, and this not rarely happens. But with a good will and pure intention, she can never be misled. When God sees this good disposition, He overlooks all the rest, and accepts as done what the soul would assuredly do if circumstances seconded her good will. Therefore, a good will has nothing to fear. If it falter, it can but fall under that all-powerful hand which guides and sustains it in all its wanderings. It is the divine hand which draws it towards the goal when it has wandered therefrom, which restores it to the path whence its feet have strayed. It is the soul's refuge in the difficulties into which the efforts of her blind faculties lead her. And the soul learns to despise these efforts, to wholly abandon herself to the infallible guidance of this divine hand. Even the errors of these good souls lead them to self-abandonment, and never will a good will find itself unaided, for it is a dogma of faith that all things work the good of such souls. That's all for today. I hope you enjoyed the reading. Tomorrow I will read chapter 10 and 11 on finding force and strength from submission to God's will, and on how all creatures, good or evil, reveal God's will. If you have enjoyed today's podcast, please subscribe, rate, share, and help us grow. Also, please check out oratebooks.com, now featuring the 2-volume set, The Practice of Mental Prayer by Father Momini, one of the clearest and most practical handbooks on mental prayer we have seen. Also featuring full-color artwork taken from the masters of the past 700 years. That's oratebooks.com. If you'd like to learn more about us, please visit oratepodcasts.com. That's ORATE podcasts.com. Thanks for listening, and I'll see you tomorrow.